Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, everyone. Before I begin, I want to first mention that Mercury is in our retrograde today. Tomorrow, and for the next 10 days, we're going to be in the shadow period, although your communication and your electronic issues should be able to resolve them to ease off after this point. What I mean to say is that during Mercury retrograde, the issue is always since things from your past seems to come forward, and additionally, for me anyway, it's my electronics that seems to malfunction. All kinds of problems with all my electronics. Mercury being the messenger of the gods is, but it also deal with your ability to communicate. I see a lot of people. This is why during Mercury retrograde, there are certain things I don't do. Like when I got an obstacle about things, I don't let my temper go up, my temperature go up. Like I had medical appointments, I had things I had to do, and as I was doing them, there were all kinds of delays and all kinds of insurance approval, and I don't allow myself to get angry and upset. As a matter of fact, I did the opposite. At every point when I got an obstacle, I dealt with it. And when I was done, to the person I was dealing with, I said, "Thank you for your kindness and your compassion today." And they all looked at me like shocked. I had to go to the motor vehicle to register my car. Again, all kinds of delays, all kinds of problems. At every step of the way, I kept saying, "Thank you for your, thank you so much for your understanding and your patience today. I deeply appreciate it." And they were surprised, but it was my way of diffusing in me my impatience, my short tempered, and my uh, 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 sense of why are these people so slow? Why can't they figure out? Because Mercury is spinning inside of me. Because I have Libra rising, Libras and Gemini are severely affected when the Mercury is retrograde. Anyway, we're out of it. And by the way, once we have done the beyond time and space, the planet will no longer compel. You will not be influenced by them anymore. You will be in a different realm. Uh, anyways, what I wanted to talk to you about today is the following. No matter how well you're holding your practice and you're doing what you're supposed to do, what's going to happen, as it has happened to me today and yesterday as well, I'm doing all my protocol, and all of a sudden, I went to the groceries, and as I was coming back, my entire core began to clench. And it wasn't until I got home that I realized that I was contracted from within. Like my entire digestive system, my intestine, everything was closing, was tight. And um and it was almost as if I felt something bad was going to happen to me. Something ominous, something horrible is going to happen to me, and my whole core is clenching and holding and clenching and clenching. And it took me a good hour and a half of, and I'm not an average person in a way because I'm constantly monitoring my consciousness. I'm constantly making sure that my spirit is in alignment. I cannot fathom what an average person on the planet right now is feeling and how their parasitical and contact negativity can actually infiltrate your core. Even though I'm doing all this practice, I'm doing all these shields and all this protection, but mere contact can actually pull you out of your center and begin to try to infiltrate in you something else. And it took me a while, a good hour and a half, before I finally was able to realize, no, 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 this is not mine. And when these things begin to happen, I'm not initially thinking, is this mine or is this coming from someone else? I'm initially thinking something is wrong with me. Why am I feeling so uneasy? Why am I feeling the sense of doom? Something is not going to work out. And in my mind, I'm going over 1,000 things, like a Rolodex of things that could go wrong in my life at this moment. This is not going to work out. That's not going to work out. That's what I'm feeling. That's what. And then when I finally was able, an hour and a half later, ask, is this coming from me or is this coming from the outside? The answer was very clear. It's not yours, Pierre. It's not yours. So I want you to understand. Yes. Yes, go ahead.
No, go ahead and finish because I want to
No,
just
go ahead,
ask
go
a
ahead,
question.
please. Please.
Oh, well, actually, you know what? Today, a little before noon, I was gonna go out, and normally I just dash, and today it says caution. Maybe you shouldn't go out. I mean, it wasn't like that, but I had the thoughts. It's like there was a physical kind of it wasn't intense, but it was just a notice.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, I don't know, the thought just says you don't really need to go out, just stay in.
Mm.
And then there was this thought, it's like, this wasn't really the thought, but this is what I'm going to say. It was like, it's a lot of crazy stuff out there, just stay in.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a little before noon today, or somewhere around there.
That's around the time I went to the supermarket. I left before
Uh,
noon at 11:30, 11:40 or something like that.
exactly.
That's when
Yes, Pierre.
that's when I left.
I felt something too, because I was gonna leave out about that same time, or a little after that,
Yeah,
and I ended up just staying in.
yeah. On my walk to the grocery store where I go is a good 20 minutes walk, and everything was fine. On my way out, all of a sudden my whole body's clenching. It's like something horrible is gonna happen. I'm like, what? Where is this coming from?
Mm.
And I'm glad that you're confirming this because it happened, and how easy for us who are listeners, whose gifts are is to holographically listen. And particularly when we're doing a torsion field that's extending for miles and miles and miles, we pick up what's happening in the collective unconscious. And I have to be more discerning and more about figuring out what is mine and what is not mine, because it wasn't mine. It wasn't
Right.
mine. It had nothing to do with me. But for a good hour and a half, I was so puzzled because I had such a great morning and such a great meditation. Everything
Yeah.
seemed aligned. Everything was, you know, everything was, and
I get it, because I was fine too, and I was, just up and doing things. And when I got ready to go out, and I had gone downstairs, and then something said, I mean, it was like this, the thought in your head, it's like, well, you really don't need to go out today. And it was like, I even had this thought about, you know, anything can happen. Somebody might run into you or something, and I said, I don't usually have these thoughts, so I'm just going to stay in and just continue to do what I'm doing inside and then move on.
yeah,
But it was, I don't usually have those, but it just, it just came today, and
yes,
it wasn't intensely unnerving, but it was a bit unnerving,
yes.
just a teeny bit.
Yeah, for me, the thing about it for me is that I'm so cognizant because I'm constantly monitoring my core. When felt this, I'm like, what am I not processing? What am I doing wrong? You know, what am I not seeing? And I tortured myself for an hour and a half before I finally asked the right question, which was, is this coming from me or is it from the outside?
Mm.
I have to interject and just say amen because I also had an experience, but not today. I think it was Monday evening, where I was surprised that a conversation turned inflammatory. And I was disappointed in myself for getting caught up in the negative kind of reaction that I was feeling. And I did not think about it at the time that it could be coming from outside, but I believe it was.
Yeah. Yeah. And particularly
Mm.
when Mercury was full retrograde at that point, of course, communication is going to be all messed up. I have to be very careful during Mercury retrograde because it affects me. It affects me in ways where I'm communicating and I say all the wrong thing, or I react emotionally in a way that's not appropriate. Or I interpret things in a different way and I jump around. I have a friend of mine that's a Libra. She is a mess. She becomes like a toy that's wind up too tight. She's ready to snap. She's jumping around. I should do this. No, I should not do this. What do you think, Pierre? Should I? It's like, girl, take a cigarette and go smoke some funny little herb. Just relax. This is, it's not that serious. Whatever you're going through doesn't need to be. It's not that critical that it doesn't get solved at this moment in this hour, and you don't make the right decision. It's irreversible. So chillax. And then after we spoke, that's that day. I kind of walked away from her because this was last week when this was happening. I kind of walked away from her because it was getting too crazy because she couldn't stop. She couldn't. I could tell she's spinning. She's and in a way it's kind of funny watching it. And then I stepped back, and then later on the next day she called me. She said, "I want to apologize. I know when you say to me that I am wind up too tight, I know what you're saying, but I couldn't stop it." I said, "I know. I could tell." I said, "You need a gummy or something. I don't know what you need, but you need something. You need Jesus. You need something while this is going on because it's too intense to be around you." Because it was a simple decision about um some electronic stuff that she was supposed to do, an app that she was supposed to install or not install to pay her rent or send me
Mm.
my check. Okay, again, communication, electronics, and I'm like, it's not that serious. Either way you do it, or whether you do it or don't do it, it you can still pay the rent. It's not like they're gonna come and evict you because you're a day late. Anyways. I I
Mm.
I'm very aware of this, and I'm gonna say to all of you, asking that question is the key. And it's a reminder for me, a reminder for all of you, because okay, when your emotion get inflated this way, you're not thinking about influence from an external force. What you're thinking is that I am not processing something correctly. Why am I
Mm.
feeling this way? God is giving me an intuitive insight. Therefore, I should obey. I should do, but not thinking that maybe this is not mine.
Mm.
I'm picking up something in the collective unconscious. Maybe this idea of fear, of doom, of unknown factors that might come and collide with me and with my life and derail me. Maybe all of that is coming from the collective unconscious. And I don't, for those of us who live in big cities like Janice and I, who live in the middle of New York, we live in the middle of if there is a place in the planet where fear exists, it's here.
It's like high
Mm.
tension wires existing everywhere. And also, now that you say that, of course, it could be in a conversation such as I had or that you had with the DMV or other people, that they are also being inflated in their part of the conversation, that they're reactive in a way that is inflammatory because of outside influence in them as well. So maybe the tip or the tool that you used, thank you for your understanding your patients or whatever, at least if it's only lip service, maybe it acts to diffuse some of that.
Yes, yes. Oh, you should have seen them. There were two incidents with two different people that anyway, I won't get into the detail because it's too crazy. But anyway, there are two incidents for the same appointment, and because now you have to make an appointment. And when I did this for these two workers, they were completely shocked. Like, you should have seen them. Their face, it's like putting a hot knife to butter. Everything just melted. And I did it for me too because I was so exasperated. I'm like, I made an appointment. I have my appointment. Why can't I get in? Okay, what, and I can feel, at the back of my throat that my anger, my rage was, I'm like, no, 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 calm down. This is the test. Calm down. And I patiently waited for whatever it is that needed to be done to resolve it so that it could be resolved. And when I went inside to the teller, some other thing happened as well. I had to redo paperwork. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not going to take it personally. And to both of them, I am like, thank you for your compassion, for your kindness. And, you have a blessed day. And they both looked at me like, wow. I'm like, yeah, there's no reason for me to. And so for me, I have to be very aware during that period, the Mercury retrograde window, particularly the full retrograde, not so much the shadow period. For me, it's during the full onslaught of it. I have to be very careful how I communicate because I will say all the wrong things because it's almost like I have a little demon on my shoulder because my words, my speech can get very sharp and my tongue can be vicious.
Well,
Okay.
I would also say that while keeping the anger element under control is important, it's also good, in my case, in this conversation I had, to establish boundaries as well and not to be walked upon, sort of tread over. So to stand up in some way in opposition to the
Yes.
proceedings are, and I'm going to all the details as you didn't either, but to do it in a way that doesn't escalate your own emotional response.
Yes, 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 absolutely, absolutely. And knowing full well, for example, when my friend was performing like this, and I made a simple suggestion, and she bit my head off. No, no, no. I was like, okay. This is when I walked away. I'm like, okay, you're wind up too tight, and you can't see it. I gotta walk away. I gotta walk away. We'll talk tomorrow. Bless you. Wherever you land happy. May God be with you. May the force be with you. Whatever it is, I just can't handle it myself. So yes. So I wanted to mention that because the practice in itself, as I'm doing it, particularly now with the Prajna Paramitra, which is the Gate, Paragati, Parasam. I'm going to share my screen with you so I can show it very briefly. There it is. It's right here. It's Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisattva, which translate is into gone, gone, gone over, gone fully over, awake it is done. So that mantra, I'm going to click shit on, stop the screen. If you have a mala, you need a 108 bead mala, very cheap from Amazon. Don't get the expensive, get a plain sandalwood or rosewood or whatever wood. $11, $10. But remember, when you have something like this, it's going to help you ascend and burn your karma. And because it's so personal and intimate to your spiritual growth, you are not to share this, meaning you can't gift it to someone. Because if you gift it, that person is going to share in your karma, and vice versa. You cannot take the mala bead of someone else. And the way to consecrate it on a Thursday, let's say this Thursday coming, if your bead is around, put the mala, put in a small bowl, metal bowl, raw, not raw milk, but whole milk. No one can find raw milk anymore, but whole milk, and a little bit of water, half milk, half water, and then soak it while you light a candle to pray to Lord Melchizedek, asking, or whomever, Lord Buddha, Lady Kuan Yin, ask them to bless the mala for you. And then for no more than 3-4 minutes, take it out, take a paper towel, okay, towel it off, make sure it's dry. The mala is consecrated for your use. You can begin to use it. If you're using it before that, it's okay. Use it until this Thursday, and then do the consecration of it. Okay? The 108 repetition of the mantra is important because it creates a closed loop and a cycle. And this mantra is very old. It is, we know for a fact that every Buddha that has ever become a Buddha became a Buddha because of the mantra. The Prajnaparamita is the mantra that all Buddhas repeat over and over again before they become enlightened. In the Heart Sutra, or Kuan Yin Heart Sutra, she talks about this over and over again, and she mentions it multiple times as a way for her, the way she became enlightened and became the Bodhisattva. And what this mantra is saying, gone, what is being gone? It's your attachment to everything on earth, your attachment to your family, your attachment to your money, your attachment to material good, your attachment to fame, fortune, to sex, to whatever your appetite and your desires are. It's your attachment to everything. And what you're saying by repeating this mantra, gate, gate, paragate, parasam gate, bodhisattva. So you say the first one, gate, gate, paragate, parasam gate, bodhisattva. The third one, gate, gate, and you're repeating it this way. And as you're saying it, you're calling upon the entire group. And the mantra is older. We know that the Gautama Buddha became enlightened over 2,000 years ago. So we know for a fact that the mantra existed before that. But for sure, since the first Buddha, Gautama Buddha, that mantra has been used by every Buddha. And when you're using it with heart, with purity, and with sincerity, thinking about all of the attachment that you have, and saying gate, gate, paragate, parasam gate, bodhisattva. In other words, I am banishing my attachment and my karma that connects to time and space. I'm banishing all of it out. Gate, gate, paragate, parasam gate, bodhisattva. I'm banishing and gone over, fully gone over, awake or enlightened, being in an enlightened state. So it be, or it is done. So that's the purpose of saying the mantra the way we're saying it. Any questions, any comments so far?
I did wonder when I was doing it, just what you were saying, what our focus should be on when we're talking about it is done or gone, it's gone. Do we have in mind anything in specific, or is it general?
You can think about the attachments that you have, the struggle that you're dealing with at this moment. Whatever they are, big or small, impossible or minute. Gate, 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 parasam, gate, bodhisattva, they're gone. Gate, all of it is gone. Because in the sin and enlightenment, none of these things exist. They're all illusion. They're all Maya.
what so an attachment, can it be used for health? Is
Yes,
it anything
yes.
about health, an attachment then?
Your perception of what health is connected to the 3D world. It's an attachment. You're being
Ah,
given a story and narrative.
an
That's telling you
illusion,
that narrative is not right.
an illusion then
An
is an
illusion.
attachment.
It's an illusion.
Okay, okay, I got you. Thank you.
The prognosis, what the doctors are saying that they're seeing under a microscope as being a disease, or all of that is an illusion. It's an attack. It doesn't exist.
Hmm.
So you're acknowledging God gone, that whole thing is gone. That you're swallowing a story that someone is telling you.
And also, I was thinking about doing it on a global level for the world, for humanity. Is that too
Well,
much?
before you get to that,
Yeah. Take too big a bite.
work on yourself. Work on and I have to tell you, I have to share with you an experience. So I'm doing this, and I did my 108. Actually, the mala that I'm using is this one. This is a special citrine mala. I used to use this one. I'm using this one now because of my astrological configuration thing, and this is a cure. And so as I'm using this right now, and I'm using the mala, and I'm repeating it and repeating it, and I'm done with my 108. And then I went on the waterfront to do a meditation, to walk, talk to my friend and do a meditation. When I got there, as I was walking, it's very hard to explain. When you're saying the mala with heart, you call such a huge group body, but that you're in a transcendental state. You're really much more expanded. And I can feel, as I'm saying, gate, gate, paragate, that something is shifting in me and in my consciousness. And I had that experience only once. I'm sitting on a bench by myself, and it's a 20 to 25-minute walk for me to get to where I usually hang out. And as I'm walking all along, I'm saying gate, gate, paragate, parasam, gate, bodhisattva. I was inspired to continue it on my walk. Okay? I kept on saying it. Gate, gate, paragate, parasam, gate, bodhisattva. Gate. And at that point, I don't have the mala in my hand. I'm just repeating it. Okay? Gate, gate, paragate. I'm looking at the cars. I go by the Chelsea market. I see people coming in and tourists. I see all the gate, gate, paragate, parasam, gate, bodhisattva. I keep walking. And when I got to my bench, I sit down, I close my eyes, and I kept saying it. I kept feeling blessed and deep gratitude. Like I was shifting something really big. And then suddenly I was still sitting in the bench. I got transported somewhere else. I felt it wasn't the white space or the white volume. I felt like there was a gigantic force field around me, like an immense force field. And at that point, my inner voice with which I was repeating gate, gate, paragate sounded like thunderclap. Like every syllable was like da, like it was so loud, it was like thunderclap. And then the force field, I could feel the edge of it, and the force field that was around me. And then with every word, gate, it felt like somebody was punching the force field, trying to break it out, like breaking a glass ceiling. Like the words that were repeating internally inside of me was trying to shatter something. And I could almost, in my mind's eye, because my eyes were closed, see the impact, like a punch, and then like the whole field was reverberating, shaking, like it was about to shatter. It was a very powerful and palpable personal testimony for me that this is not a joke. This is the real deal. I don't know how many of this mantra that I repeated that day. I know for a fact that when these teachers are meditating on the body tree, or on a very specific holy spot, they repeat this mantra at least for 108 times, which means that maybe I reach 108. I don't know, because I was not counting at that point. I was free falling and just allowing myself, like I felt moved that I should continue with the goodness that I was feeling, the gratitude and the expansion that I was sensing and the goodness, like a cascade of goodness was coming toward me, an endless cascade of goodness. I wanted to continue it, and I know it was connected to the mantra. And suddenly this happened. It was literally like a visual, like the words were like a fist that was punching the force field, trying to break this glass ceiling, the bubble that I was inside of. I'm sharing that with you as an encouragement, and I know most of you don't have time to say this, as I have. Since then, I haven't had the opportunity to repeat this experience because I haven't had the time to sit down quietly and repeat it, nonstop for an extended period of time. But I know if I repeat it again and do it the same way, it's going to happen again. Something like, and by the way, if you want to count it, if you do this mala 10 times, you've reached over 108. I have done mantras where I had to do a mantra 18,000 times, and I did 1,000 of the mantra every day until I ended up reaching 18,000. This is something you do once in a lifetime, by the way, when you're to accomplish certain things. There was a whole science in India with mantra and all that and so on and so forth. But I wanted to bring that to your attention because any question about what I just said, by the way? Any question, any comments?
I did have a comment that I mentioned earlier. Well, I have two, I guess, one comment, one question. The impact of your powerful response to the repetition of that. It sounds like the rod of God, the beyond time and space power. That would you equate them in some way?
They are connected. Okay, so it's going to be a segue for the next section. They are connected.
Okay.
Yes, they are connected. So the way they are connected is as follows. When you are doing the torsion field in the new ways that I've described to you that we did last week, which was to allow the guardian eyes of light to come in and let the energy, the first guardian counter-rotating, move through you, let the energy rise, exit outside of your head, go into source, and create around you a torsion field of neutrality. And once that is done, then you repeat, or you say to yourself, beyond time and space. I want you to, and you do this for every torsion field. So the next torsion field that nests on top of the next one, and the next on top of beyond time and space at every moment, at every. Now remember, the first guardian that comes in, we are in 3D. That guardian is in 4D. And that guardian is sharing with you the neutrality that exists in that dimension of time and space, where now it's not just 3D, but there's a time continuum, there's a higher mastery of time. But we are adding there a shortcut for gate, gate, paragate. We're saying, I'm not attached to that dimension, beyond time and space. I want a transcendence that even beyond that. And then the next guardian comes in offering his understanding of neutrality, now 4D, now in 5D. The next guardian is in 5D, then that energy gets created, the bubbles get created, because you have to move through that funnel in order for you to get to the next dimension. And then when you arrive at that dimension, then beyond time and space is again casting out whatever higher understanding of time and space continuum exists in 5D. We are even going to transcend it and say, I am letting go of my attachment to that perception. Because your consciousness is perceiving something in a certain kind of structural metrics. I am transcending that metrics, and I'm beyond time and space and that entire metrics. I am moving into something else. You do it in 60, 70, 80, all the way back until the 12th guardian in 15D gives you its understanding of that dimension. And even then you're saying, beyond time and space. It is a shortcut for gate, gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhisattva. You're saying, I am not attached to anything, even on those dimensions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry. At a certain point, we were saying, I release all attachments, fears, and control, and I surrender to the great emptiness and endless luminosity. Does that equate to the same level of the beyond time and space? Or it sounds like beyond time and space must be much more powerful.
It should equate because it sounds like it's the same thing, but it's not. Because the beyond time and space is a decree to the universe, to the entire universe. That you're bypassing everything and you're going, basically, you're casting, you're arising. You're arising all level of the torsion field, all the way back to God. And when you get there, you're claiming your connection to the rod of Melchizedek.
Mm.
And that rod is the measure of God. It's the power to be able to create, like Melchizedek created or became the point of focus for the entire universe.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Do you understand what I'm saying? How important that is?
Yep.
It's a decree. Unlike, because when we say, I release all attachment, fears, and control, and I surrender the great emptiness and less luminosity, it is very healing. But a lot of time in saying this, you're not directing it through dimensions. What this is, when the beyond time and space is doing is that it's directing it, and the way we are doing the torsion field out, to banish every dimensions all the way up. And basically, if done, I want you all to do this. We started doing this last week in December. When was this? December 8th. I want you to do this, December 8th, 2024. I want you to do this until December 8th, 2025. Every day, the torsion field like this. And the gati paragati. And if you do this, by next year, you will be a priest of Melchizedek and a celestial magician capable of creating a space in which for the service work that we need to do, the intercession and the prayer that we need to do to help humanity through the disturbance and rapid changes that are going to take place. We need to intercede for them, but we need to intercede for them with power. And this will connect you to the power. Now, I have to say to you, in the process of doing this, you will encounter all kinds of resistance that are internal to you. Right now, when I do the torsion field, and I say, and I'm at every point I say, begone time and space. When I get to the eighth guardian, something in my consciousness is not aligned correctly in that when I get to that part, because I'm always getting confused, or I have to stop and think again. There is something there that my consciousness still to adjust to. And you will find either you had vision at certain things, or there are certain certain guardians, when that energy comes in, there are certain parts that seem not to assimilate correctly, that seem not to be processed correctly. That's because that's part of your, in other words, my connection to the guardian right now, the eighth guardian, whatever karma, because remember, there is an aspect of me that exists in all these dimensions. First guardian, second, third. There's an aspect of me, like a more etheric or energetic version of Pierre that exists in 4D, 5D, 6D. So there's an aspect of me that exists in 8D that is not processing something correctly. And for whatever reason, when I get to that part, I can feel it. I get confused. I don't remember what I'm saying. I don't remember the words. I have to start again. Did I do this right? What am I forgetting? And it happens to me every time. And maybe there is some undeservedness that exists in that realm. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like I'm getting stuck into something. So I want you to understand, or maybe there is still, even at the dimension, there is some personal agenda that I'm still holding on to that I need to let go, or that aspect of me need to let go. So I want you to understand this when you feel, for example, I don't remember which one I was. I'm confused. Did I do it right? Note what guardian is coming in. And there's a part of you that exists in that dimension that's struggling to adjust. It won't be a perpetual struggle. It is because it's a process. It's a process of evolution and of growth. And the parts of you that exist in all this dimension, you're basically saying those parts of you, and this is why after the guardian gives you their neutrality, let's say in 8D, and then I am saying to that part of me, begone time and space. We're going to transcend that dimension. And maybe that part of me doesn't want to transcend that dimension. Maybe that part of me is comfortable being neutral in 8D. And that whole thing sounds like poppycock to him. It takes a minute for all the parts and the fragments to align themselves to one message. This is the reason why we're doing it for so long, because it needs to become an instinct, or like automatic in us. So that when we need to project it outside of us because there is danger, or there is something we need to intercede for the people of the earth, when we project it outside and we say, begone time and space, and with our hand extended out, the whole thing that the edifice, the structure that we're creating within ourselves pulls out. Complete with no question asked. No hiccup at any dimension, no second thought, no doubt. Everything pulls out, complete. Any questions, any comments? I don't know if any of you had noticed that when you're doing the torsion field, the way we're doing it, the new way we're doing it now, if there are moment when you get to a certain guardian coming in, that there is some repeated glitch in the way you're sensing, energetically feeling, perceiving, or registering what's happening or the field around you as the field comes in. Because if that's going on, it's something in that dimension that part of you that exists in that dimension need to process.
Yeah, then if that is the case, and I haven't had different levels at which I've stumbled over the recitation that have otherwise been quite fluid, then how do you address that?
To say that again, you haven't had any problem? Is that what you're saying?
No, sorry, I have had those occasions at certain levels of the torsion fields
Yes.
where I'd stumble over the recitation of the Gate.
Yes.
And if that means then that there is something in that dimension that I need to understand or fix, or I don't know what the word would be, how does one do that?
You keep repeating it over and over again until it resolves itself by itself.
Oh, so you do the Gate until it's easier?
Yes.
So you don't proceed in the torsion field to the next dimensional.
No. What I'm saying is that whether it's with the Gate or with the torsion field itself and the beyond time and space, you are having a problem, you feel stuck or confused, you're unclear, you keep doing it until you get it.
Oh, so just keep repeating the torsion field.
It's like learning how to walk. If you stop, if a baby falls down and starts crying, you keep repeating it. You keep getting up and try to walk again.
Okay. So repeating it immediately or the next day repeating it sort of thing, or later in the day repeating it?
The next day, it's okay if you have an hesitation. There are times when you're repeating it. There are other mantras that I'm repeating. There are times I'm started repeating the mantra. I realize there are 2 lines or 2 things inside of it I didn't do. So I go at the beginning, I start again. Right? And then I begin to do it. I have to pay attention. And so what I'm saying is that you're trying to remember or create a channel for something that's so atrophied that has not been used in millions of years. It's like a sculptor chiseling a channel. So there are moments where the chisel and the hammer that you're using is going to be stuck on something because it's harder there. Keep chiseling until the groove is created.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. What will happen is that whatever the blockage was or because these processing, let's say it's the torsion field, it's 8 dimension or 10 dimension, 11 dimension, whatever it is, the processing and the expansion that you need to actually query in that level of dimension, you and I don't have access to it at this moment. So you need to keep setting the intention of a unified consciousness, doing all of this together in all dimension of time and space. And you keep setting it, and that part of you that exists in that dimension will acquiesce and realize the wisdom of it and will resolve what needs to be resolved internally. And you may get an insight. You may understand all of a sudden, having done this, I remember when we were doing the monadic merger, as we were moving around the clock, the mandala, and we're going around, there were several sections of the mandala, maybe at 7 o'clock or 5 o'clock where I was having difficulty connecting to anything. I felt like there was something that was not there, or I had difficulty, or I would see things that were not appropriate. As this is going on over time and repeating the merger on a daily basis over time, all of a sudden, the whole thing, I could do it in one fell swoop and I had no problem doing it. It's the same thing. You need to do it and repeat it, and like you're chiseling a channel, like a sculptor that has a chisel that's creating a groove. Some section of the wood is going to be harder to chisel, other sections are going to be softer. You need to keep hammering and keep chiseling until the channel is created. And you might get insight. Sometimes there were visions, sometimes there were things when I was doing the monadic merger, there were parts of me that were still resisting, particularly when you're in the mantra. There are Buddhas and Dakinis that are at every direction of the mandala. And these Buddhas and these Dakinis are there coming in. Sometimes there were parts of me that was trying to seek their help, yet at the same time I that felt entitled, that I deserve to have this. Initially you don't realize this, but as you keep chiseling and keep doing this, eventually your consciousness expand into an understanding, that was the issue. And I'm going to say something because you're using the begone time and sage decree, which is a decree from Lord Melchizedek himself. You're using it. As you're using this, what's going to happen is that the details and the minutiae of exactly why you get stuck at the 8th dimension or 5th dimension or the 11th dimension are irrelevant because you're banishing everything out. They're not important anymore. Any questions, any comments? Now, going forward, at some point in the future, we will have to intercede and pray for others. And we may want to do this collectively, and this is my intention, that we do this as a group together and do the begone time and space by projecting it together related to a very specific issue that the planet may be having at the moment, be it some sort of catastrophic imminent danger of some kind, and us interceding on behalf of the planet by creating, because the begone time and space, when you project it outside, it's the rod of Melchizedek. It's your own antakarana turning into the rod of Melchizedek. And once you've done this, you're striking it down as if Lord Melchizedek struck his staff, his rod, or his antakarana at the first time to create a universe of courage. In this instance, it might be give protection to whomever the collective is, to, whatever city you're trying to protect. Give safe passage to, and so on and so forth. So as we are doing this, we're going to do it most likely. I would love for us to do it as a group initially. And then you can begin to learn how to do it by yourself. Because as a group, we have the chance of success are very powerful. And I want to remind, for those of you who were around when we were doing the fire ceremony, and it's something akin to that I'm trying to train you for. If you remember, we did the wisdom of the mighty I am presence and the monadic merger for 1 year. because we were going to do a Melchizedek fire ceremony at Wesak in the Catskills. And I remember we were all standing around the fire after the year of daily repeating the same meditation and the same prayer, all of us doing it in our own home by ourselves. When we got there, we were doing it. I remember at some point, because we were going around, all of us were repeating certain section, and we're going around the fire. And I remember at some point I felt energetically that we are not achieving what we needed to achieve. Because at that moment, while we were circling the fire, my antakarana, my own connection to Melchizedek, merged and inside at the center of the fire, and rotated around me and overlapped to the person that was standing next to me, be it Celidia, be it Esther, be it Janus, whomever was standing next to me. And their energy system also went inside the center of the fire, overlapped. So we're nesting, we're overlapping on top of each other with the intention of connecting to spirit to allow the blessings and the celestial blessing to come down to earth. And as we overlap each other like this, one by one over next to each other, the result is that if you can think of all antakarana as being braids, those braids then would weave together in the center of the fire, creating a collective force that's so powerful that it ascended into the heaven and created an even bigger torsion field, a different measure of God with more power, asking for the celestial forces to ground themselves on earth. I'm trying to explain in greater detail what actually happened that day. And I remember at one point I kept saying to you, I could feel everybody was struggling as we were going around repeating what we were repeating. And I remember saying to you, this is not you doing this. It's your monad and your mighty I am presence. Connect to that energy. Because I know I was trying to do it as Pierre Dubois on earth at this moment. But my monad is made of 143 other pieces. And it's the entire collective that's gathered together to project this intention. The same way beyond time and space at every dimension, all the way back to God, every part of you that exists in all dimensions need to connect with one intention. We did this horizontally, we're going to do this vertically. We did it laterally in the manala, we're going to do it vertically now. And if we all do this, we're going to do something akin to what we did. And by the way, the result, I don't know if all of you remember, the result of this was that night when we went to town to have dinner at the in Long Eddy for our dinner. I know half of you did not go, but for those of you who accompanied me went with me, the ET lights followed us on the return back to the restaurant, all the way back to the house. They came, the celestial forces came. This was a close encounter experience. Now, something like this will happen. I don't know when we will have to intercede. I can sense this is coming, and Lord Melchizedek is telling me to tell you to prepare for it. And this is why we're doing this at this moment. Any questions, any comments?
Well, I do have a basic question that I hope I haven't misunderstood. I I was doing the complete mantra with each bead of the mala, but earlier you seemed to say gate gate paragate and one bead, and then the next bead move on to parasamgate, and then the third bead be gone. I mean,
No, 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 no. What I'm doing is that the mala is repeating gate, gate, paragate 108 times.
the whole mantra, each bead.
You repeat the entire mantra. You repeat gate, gate, paragate, parasam, gate, bodhisoha. Second bead.
Yeah.
Gate, gate, paragate, parasam, gate, bodhisoha. Third bead. Gate, and you repeat it until you complete it.
Yes, okay, that was what I was doing. But when you were demonstrating it, it looked like you were moving to a different bead within the mantra. But
No, 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 no. The bead is for the count. What I'm
I
touching
understand.
is
No, I know.
for me not to, because otherwise I'm not going to remember. Because the energy is going to shift me anyway. I'm not going to remember where I am. It's the same when I'm doing the torsion field and I'm guiding you in meditation with the torsion field. Even for me, I use my fingers because I'm not going to remember which guardian is coming in. The energy is so potent and so powerful. I get pulled out of my body. I go somewhere else temporarily. I come back. I don't remember where I am. I don't even remember my name. So I have to use something to help me maintain a connection to the 3D world.
Yeah, of course.
Did that help you, Janice? Is that what you were
I
asking?
think it clarified the question, the confusion that I had at the earlier part of the class tonight. Thank you.
Yes. And the thing about it is that, again, I say the mala once, and then after that, I do the torsion field in the manner, and you don't have to do them right after the other. If your schedule is not permitting, you can do the torsion field later. You can do the mala after. It doesn't matter the order. But on a daily basis, if you could do them, it would really help you. And if you have extra time, as I said, then by all means, um, 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 repeat them. And the experience I had going on the waterfront with this force field around me and the glass ceiling getting broken, it was so potent and so powerful that day. I felt if I had continued, I would have become enlightened right at that moment. That it would the shield, the field that was around me, the words were so potent, they were breaking everything.
Mhm.
It was that kind of experience. So it's something at the earliest opportunity I want to repeat again. After saying it for 108 times, and just keep repeating it until whenever, when I have a chunk of time that I can devote to this. Of course, in my schedule, and I know all of you in your schedule, it's to find a chunk of time. Any other questions or comments?
I just wanted to make a comment about I'm a witness for what happened upstate with the light, and how the ETs came in and followed us. That was exciting.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. And really, to be honest, it's the devotion and the discipline that we demonstrated. None of this can happen if there is no devotion and no discipline. It's the discipline. We all did it. It wasn't just me alone or you alone. We all did it together. This is what collective rescue really means.
Yes.
It's all of us.
When you at the fire ceremony, I remember how you reminded us that whatever you said was, loosen up, whatever it was. I don't know, but I don't remember the exact words you were saying, but it's the smoke and everything else changed.
Yeah, the smoke was going in everybody's face. It was there was a
Right.
resistance. There was a big
Right.
resistance. And I could feel it. I'm like, something is not right. And then at that point, I said to all of you, it's not just you as 3D, it's your entire monad that's standing here doing this. And
Yeah, yeah.
automatically the energy shifted.
Yes, yes. Okay, anyway, I just wanted to
Yeah, that
be
was
a
a
witness.
potent and powerful thing that day. And unbeknown to me, if you had asked me why I'd asked you to do this from a year before, I wouldn't. I consciously could not tell you the reason. All I knew is that my guide whispered this in my consciousness, and I asked you to do it. The
Yeah.
same way I'm being asked by my guide for you to do this right now for a year. And once the year is over, we will have the opportunity to use it. And once we, and something miraculous is going to occur because of this. Something extraordinary.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions or comments? All right, let us take a 5-minute break and then we'll do a closing meditation. 5 minutes. Before we begin our meditation, I just want to mention a couple more things. Because I do this in the morning, the Gate Gate Paragate, the Prajna Paramitra, I want to talk about the breath that's connected to this. Gone, and I'm thinking about all the attachment that I have that I need to let go. But at the same time, every bead, as I say Gate Gate Paragate silently to myself, Bodhisattva, I actually take a full inhalation and a full exhalation. So I'm doing breath control. So I do 108 deep breath, deep inhalation and exhalation as I'm saying this. Now, as far as the torsion field is concerned, when I'm doing the torsion field, I inhale very deeply from the core of the earth. Let the torsion field be created. Exhale outside of my head. The field of neutrality is created around me. I can feel it, see it, it gets created. And then I take a second breath, begone time and space. And sometime when I have time, even a third breath to let the two of them adjust together. It makes a dramatic difference and maybe in the future I can do it faster, but for now, because it's so many pieces, I need to take my time to allow my body to adjust to the change that I'm initiating. Does that make any sense?
I'm not sure I've quite understood everything. One breath for each torsion field is what you're doing, but you take a second breath before starting the next
No,
torsion field.
I'm doing one breath for the first, let's say, inhale. Let me explain. I'm going to run to 2 cycles so that you understand. And the first guardian shows up, inhale from the core of the earth, moving to the bottom of my feet, passing from my core, exiting outside my head.
So exhale to the.
I exhale and then creating now the torsion field of neutrality all around me. Once that is done, I take a second breath from the core of the earth. And when it arrives at the top of my head, be gone time and space.
Oh, so you didn't create a second, or guardians didn't create a second torsion field. You just
But
took.
yet, in the first, because what I'm doing is that after every torsion field, the command and the decree of be gone time and space has to be said. So I take a second breath to do it.
Ah, okay. So with the second torsion field coming from source, then
I do exactly the same thing in reverse.
so you would inhale from source,
I even have the source,
and I got you.
and then
Okay.
it goes down, goes in the core of the earth, and then the torsion field gets created, and then I take a second breath from source again, be gone time and space.
I got you. Okay, thank you.
Okay? As a way to solidify, because we're doing more than one thing. And taking that one breath, trying to do all of these things, which is what I was doing initially, I realized that I need to take 2 breaths. It's not enough.
And also you're only, I don't mean only, but you're doing just the um, begone time and space, or you're doing the gate and begone time and space.
I do the Gate Gate Paragate first. Then
No, I mean with the torsion field.
I'm not doing the Gate Gate Paragate with the torsion field. No. I'm
Oh,
just saying be gone time and space.
okay, okay.
I'm using the shortcut. Don't make it complicated. Not yet.
Yeah,
Maybe
gotcha.
you're anticipating what's next, Janice, but not yet.
No, no, I'm fine with that. That
Okay?
sounds
Uh, all I'm doing is be gone time and space at every torsion field. Okay?
good, good. Thank you.
All right. Let us do the meditation. Take a very deep and slow breath. And as you inhale and exhale deeply and slowly, allow the universal life force that permeates everything to enter into your lungs. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And let your soul and your awareness drop in the middle of your chest. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Let your mind and your heart sync with each other. And notice what you notice. And the guardian alliance of light approach you, offering to gift you their shields of light and protection. and a band of neutrality. If you're ready to accept this gift at this time, answer affirmatively. And let the energy of the first guardian begin at the core of the earth, moving through the bottom of your feet, passing to your central axis, exiting outside of your head, and going into source while creating all around you a torsion field of neutrality. Be gone, time and space. The axis at the top of your head extends, and it attracts now the energy of the second guardian coming in from source, dropping into the top of your head, passing to your central core, exiting at the bottom of your feet and going to the core of the earth, while creating all around you a torsion field of neutrality. Be gone, time and space. The axis at the bottom of your feet extends, and it attracts now the energy of the third guardian, beginning from the center of the earth, rising upwards, counter-rotating, passing through the bottom of your feet, moving through you, exiting outside of your head, going into source, and creating all around you a torsion field of neutrality. Be gone, time and space. The axis at the top of your head extends, and it attracts now the energy of the fourth guardian, coming in from source, rotating clockwise, dropping into the top of your head, moving through your central core, exiting at the bottom of your feet, going into the core of the earth, and creating all around you a torsion field of neutrality. Be gone, time and space. The axis at the bottom of your feet extends and it attracts on the energy of the fifth guardian coming in from the core of the earth, counter rotating, moving through the bottom of your feet, passing through you, exiting outside of your head, going into souls, and creating all around you. The Trojan field of neutrality. Begone time and space. The axis at the top of your head extends and it attracts down the energy of the sixth guardian, cascading down from souls, rotating clockwise, passing through your head and your central axis, exiting at the bottom of your feet, and going into the core of the earth, while creating all around you a torsion field of neutrality. Begone time and space. The axis at the bottom of your feet, extends and it attracts down the energy of the seventh guardian, counter rotating, moving upwards through the bottom of your feet, passing through you, exiting outside of your head, and going into souls while creating all around you a torsion field of neutrality. Begone time and space. The axis at the top of your head extends and it attracts down the energy of the eighth guardian, rotating clockwise, coming from souls, dropping into the top of your head, passing through your core, exiting at the bottom of your feet, and going into the center of the earth while creating all around you a torsion field of neutrality. Begone time and space. The axis at the bottom of your feet extends and it attracts now the energy of the night guardian, counter-rotating, rising upwards from the core of the earth, moving to the bottom of your feet, passing through you, exiting outside of your head, and going into source, while creating all around you. The torsion field of neutrality. Begone time and space. The axis at the top of your head extends, and it attracts now the energy of the 10th guardian, cascading down from souls while rotating clockwise. Moving through your core, exiting at the bottom of your feet, and going to the center of the earth, while creating all around you. The torsion field of neutrality. Begone time and space. The axis at the bottom of your feet extends, and it attracts now the energy of the 11th guardian, counter-rotating, moving through the bottom of your feet, passing through your central axis, exiting outside of your head, and going into source, while creating all around you. The torsion field of neutrality. Begone time and space. The axis at the top of your head extends and it attracts now the energy of the 12 guardian coming from source while rotating clockwise, cascading down to the top of your head, passing through your core, exiting at the bottom of your feet, and going into source. While creating all around you a total feel of neutrality. Beyond time and space. Observe the 12 counter-rotating axes that are spinning in your core, and leaving behind the rod of Melchizedek. Begone time and space. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisoha. I am fixed, designed, I am the celestial axis. I am Melchizedek. Hosanna into the highest. Hosanna into the highest. Hosanna into the highest. Take a very deep and slow breath. And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you, Pierre. I had an interesting experience. If I may just describe what it was. When we started, before the torsion fields were created, I saw a rod already sort of in place. After the torsion fields were created, I saw within the rod, looking down into it, like in the circumference of it, a flower of life design.
Oh,
I don't know what that means, but it was very unusual and very beautiful.
well, beautiful, Janice. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, thank you. That's it's demonstrate the frequency and the alignment of this updated torsion field meditation. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank all of you for listening to us tonight. Uh, like this video, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to us on Patreon, thank you for your support. Everyone, I thank you for listening and for marching on this journey with me. I'll talk to you next week. Blessings. Thank you so much.
Good night, everyone. Love you.